Hey everyone, great to see you back here with me today. I hope you're crushing it wherever you are in this amazing world of ours. So let's dive right into what's happening with XRP right now. Take a look at this daily chart. We're sitting pretty at $1.98, and it's looking like XRP is gearing up to push back above that $2 mark once again. Now here's what's interesting. Earlier today, when the price dipped below $1.90, I had people literally stopping me on the street asking, "Hey, are you stressed about XRP?" My phone was buzzing with messages like, "Should we be worried about this price action?" And you know what I told them? I said, "Hold up, what fundamentally changed about XRP today?" The answer? Absolutely nothing. That's why I'm not losing any sleep over this at all. That massive breakout we've been talking about, it's still on the horizon. Here's the plot twist though. We've got Bitcoin ETFs launching tomorrow. Now, if history repeats itself like it usually does with these ETF launches, we might see Bitcoin take another hit, which could drag the whole market down with it. We've literally watched this same movie play out every single time a new ETF goes live. Will tomorrow be different? Your guess is as good as mine. The crystal ball is pretty foggy right now. But check this out. Bitcoin just climbed back above 85K. I'm really hoping both of these powerhouses keep this momentum going through the weekend and into Monday morning. That way, even if Bitcoin does take a tumble, it won't fall as hard as it could have when we were hanging around that 83K level. Look, nobody has all the answers right now. There's just too much uncertainty in the air. And I know the moment XRP breaks above $2 again, everyone's going to be shouting, "We're so back!" But me? I'm keeping my celebration on ice until we see at least 2 solid days of upward movement. Okay, check this out. The Fear and Greed Index just hit 10. I've been watching crypto for years, and I have never seen it this low before. We're talking maximum fear territory here, folks. Right now, everyone's running scared. People are frantically hitting that sell button thinking crypto is about to crater even further. They're convinced the world is ending, that Bitcoin's heading straight back to 50K, and they just want out of this market completely. But here's what I need you to understand. When the rebound comes, it happens lightning fast. And I mean lightning fast. Remember this moment right here? Boom! XRP absolutely exploded with $25 million in trading volume in just 60 seconds. 60 seconds! That was November 16th, 2024. And let me tell you something. It's going to happen again. When XRP decides to make its move, there won't be any warning signs, no countdown timer, no gentle buildup. It's just going to rocket off like a space shuttle, and you better believe you want to be holding your position when that happens. I'm telling you right now, it's going to catch everyone completely off guard. Picture this. It might happen at 2 a.m. while you're fast asleep. You wake up, grab your phone to check your portfolio like you do every morning, and suddenly you're staring at XRP sitting at a brand new all-time high in full price discovery mode. That's how fast this can flip. Most people think price movements take days to unfold, but when a real breakout starts, we're talking violent moves to the upside that happen in the blink of an eye. Anyone sitting on the sidelines waiting for the perfect moment to jump in, they're going to end up paying a massive premium for this opportunity. So here's something really interesting. A long-term Bitcoin trader just dropped a prediction that XRP's supply is about to get really, really scarce. And when that happens, he thinks we could see prices absolutely surge within the next 6 to 9 months. Now, when I asked Grok about this same timeline, it gave me 3 to 6 months. But here's the thing. Depending on how you phrase your question to these AI tools, you might get answers ranging from 4 to 6 weeks. The predictions are literally all over the map. But you know what? Despite all these different timeframes, there's one thing everyone seems to agree on. Scarcity is definitely coming for XRP. The question isn't if, it's when. Now, do I think this is going to play out over 6 months like some people are saying? Honestly, I think we're going to see this happen way sooner, possibly by the end of this year. Think about it. All these XRP ETFs that are going live, they're absolutely crushing it. We're talking performance that's blowing past even the most optimistic expectations. And here's what's really interesting. These ETFs are going to start gobbling up massive amounts of that over-the-counter XRP and all those dark pool reserves super quickly. Once they've eaten through all that hidden supply, where do you think they're going to turn next? That's right, straight to the public exchanges. And the moment that shift happens, we're going to witness XRP's price move in ways that'll make your head spin. That's when the real breakout everyone's been waiting for is finally going to hit. And trust me, it's going to be epic. All right, so there's this really interesting discussion happening right now about XRP's future. And it's got people talking. An analyst just dropped a pretty bold claim. They're saying that by 2030, XRP might become completely out of reach for regular retail investors like you and me. We're talking about a complete shift toward institutional-only usage. Now, I'm seeing this topic blow up everywhere, and here's the thing that a lot of people are starting to realize. XRP was never really designed for retail investors in the first place. It was built for the big players, the institutions. And here's where it gets really interesting. As scarcity kicks in and people start panic selling while prices climb higher and higher, you might find yourself completely priced out if you try to buy back in later. When do I think this is going to happen? Forget 2030. I'm thinking this shift could happen way before then. We're probably looking at sometime before 2027, maybe even early 2028. Nobody knows exactly how fast this train is going to move, but we all see it coming down the tracks. Let's think about this logically for a second. What's Ripple's actual business model built around? Is it focused on retail investors buying $20 worth every week? Absolutely not. It's 100% institutional driven. And when these institutional players decide to enter the game, they're not messing around with small amounts. We're talking millions upon millions of dollars flooding in at once, and they start vacuuming up that available supply incredibly fast. Once that supply gets tight, and people are still selling out of fear, guess where those coins are going? Straight into the hands of ETF issuers and major institutions, right off the exchanges. This is exactly why DeFi strategies have become so crucial. Earning yield from your crypto means you never have to sell in the first place. You never have to face that terrifying moment where you sell your position and then realize you can't afford to buy back in. You know what I always say? Volatility is a gift to the working class. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. If you're out there grinding at your 9-to-5 job every single day, this volatility, it's actually your golden ticket to financial freedom. But here's the catch. You've got to have patience in this space. You can't just throw your life savings at crypto and then stress out every single day watching the charts. You need to come into this game with a clear head and say, all right, today's a red day. I'll survive it. Tomorrow will probably be green for XRP. But that volatility, that's what's going to change your life forever. Because there's literally nowhere else on the planet where you can get opportunities like what crypto offers. I've been saying it for years. This space will set you financially free if you play it smart. Now, while XRP's price is down, I want you to think about something. I saw this amazing post that really puts everything in perspective, and it asks some crucial questions. Is the DTCC still pushing towards same-day settlement? You bet they are. Are dozens of major global institutions still building their infrastructure on Ripple and the XRP ledger? Absolutely. Are spot ETFs, ETPs, and institutional investment vehicles still getting ready to launch? Without a doubt. Is the tokenization of bonds, treasuries, real-world assets, and trade finance still moving full steam ahead? 100%. Are liquidity hubs, automated market makers, side chains, and hooks still going live? Yes, yes, and yes. Is the entire world shifting toward real-time value transfer instead of relying on those ancient 1970s banking rails? Definitely. Is XRP's supply still getting tighter while long-term holders keep stacking? You know it. So if all of these answers are yes, then tell me, what exactly has changed? The answer is simple. Absolutely nothing has changed. This is exactly why I'm always telling you to step back and look at the bigger picture before you even think about selling your XRP. We're literally witnessing the transition from our current broken financial system into something completely revolutionary. We're moving away from that outdated SWIFT system that's been holding us back for decades. And guess what? Ripple has built the best alternative solution on the planet. By holding XRP, you're not just investing in a cryptocurrency, you're betting on the future of money itself. The fundamentals haven't changed one bit, even though the price is having a rough day. All right, let's talk numbers for a second. If you're holding 1,000 XRP right now, here's what some analysts are saying it could be worth if major banks worldwide start using XRP for cross-border transfers. They're projecting around $8,000 for every 1,000 XRP you hold. But here's where I think they're being way too conservative. With scarcity becoming a massive factor, I genuinely believe that 1,000 XRP during this run could easily be worth $50,000 or more in the short term. Why? Because I think we're going to see XRP blast past $50 per coin. Now, I see people throwing around crazy numbers like $300, $589, and even higher. But let's stay grounded for a moment. Even being conservative, we're looking at 1,000 XRP being worth around $50,000. That means every single 1,000 XRP you're holding could hit 50 grand. And that's just the baseline, folks. Everything else just gets stacked on top of that foundation. If Ripple manages to capture a decent chunk of the derivatives market, add that to your total. If the US finally rolls out crypto regulations that actually benefit utility-driven cryptocurrencies like XRP, stack that on top too. When tokenized assets really start exploding, yep, add that to the pile as well. That's why I'm saying $50,000 is just the starting point. Honestly, there's a really good chance you'll see $100,000 for every 1,000 XRP you're holding during this cycle. Remember, back in 2018, nobody thought XRP would ever hit $3. But guess what? It did. Now, what are people projecting? We're talking $27, possibly $50 and beyond. I think XRP is going to absolutely shock everyone and outperform everything else in this entire space. But here's the million-dollar question. Just how high can XRP actually go? Like I said, $50 is my conservative estimate, but when you factor in real scarcity, nobody really has a clue where this thing tops out. You could try to calculate it based on market cap from previous cycles, but here's the thing. Once you start dealing with actual utility and XRP being completely utility-driven, that changes everything. It's a total game changer. When you combine scarcity with real-world utility, all bets are off. Nobody knows where XRP stops climbing. If we actually enter a full utility-driven run instead of just speculation, the sky's the limit for XRP's price in the short term. So, Tom Lee just came out and said that crypto hasn't peaked yet, and he thinks the cycle top is still 12 to 36 months away. Now, I've got to be honest with you. I think he's completely off base on this one. Do I agree that we haven't hit the top yet? Absolutely. But 12 to 36 months? Come on, that seems way too far out unless we're talking about a full-blown utility run taking over the market. Here's the thing, though. Tom Lee is a Bitcoin and Ethereum guy through and through. That's his world. That's what he focuses on. And when it comes to Bitcoin and Ethereum specifically, I think this cycle is going to wrap up way sooner than he's predicting. We're probably looking at early 2026 for those two, maybe even by the end of this year if things really heat up. But thinking we've got another 12 to 36 months of this cycle, that just feels way too stretched out for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Here's where I think the real shift is happening. We're moving into an era that's going to be all about utility, real-world value, actual use cases that solve real problems. That's where the smart money is heading. And you know what's really interesting? Even the big institutions are already pivoting in that direction. They're not just throwing money at speculative plays anymore. They're looking for cryptocurrencies that actually do something meaningful in the real world. That's the future we're moving toward, and it's happening faster than most people realize. Oh, and before I forget, Ledger is running a huge Black Friday sale right now, with up to 40% off their hardware wallets. Look, you guys know I'm not someone who's constantly trying to sell you stuff, but I do have an affiliate link for Ledger, and this is one of those times where I genuinely think it's worth mentioning. I'm always preaching about keeping your crypto secure, and honestly, Black Friday deals like this don't come around very often. If you've been thinking about getting a hardware wallet to protect your holdings, this might be the perfect opportunity to save some serious cash. You can find the link down in the description if you're interested. I just figured if there's a chance for you to save money while securing your crypto, why not take advantage of it, right? And here we are! XRP just hit $2. We're literally sitting right at that psychological level as I'm recording this. But the big question is, can it actually hold this position? Honestly, I'd love to see XRP climb closer to that $2.20 range heading into Monday when these new ETFs officially launch. Why? Because if history repeats itself and they decide to dump Bitcoin again, you know exactly what's going to happen. XRP is going to get dragged down with it. And then we'll have another one of those brutal red days where everyone starts panicking, thinking it's game over for XRP. But here's the thing about these ETFs that people need to understand. They're actually going to bring massive value to XRP in the long run. The price is definitely going to appreciate because of them. How long will that take? Nobody has a crystal ball on that one. Some people are actually speculating that Monday's launches, with Franklin Templeton and the others, might flip the script and send prices in the opposite direction this time. We'll see. So far, ETF launches haven't exactly been XRP's best friend. But it's not really that the ETFs themselves are bad news. I think what's happening is they're strategically dumping Bitcoin to bring down the whole market, which lets institutions like Franklin Templeton scoop up XRP at discounted prices for their ETF holdings. Pretty smart move, actually. But I think we're going to start seeing a major shift. Money that's been parked in Bitcoin ETFs is probably going to start flowing into other opportunities. Solana, XRP ETFs, maybe some of those leveraged ETFs. It's going to be really interesting to watch. Look, we'll see how this all plays out from here. Until then, just remember, stay patient, stay positive, and let's build some serious wealth together. All right, everyone, that's going to wrap up today's video. I genuinely appreciate each and every one of you for watching and being part of this community. I'll catch you in the next one. Have an amazing night.